Good day, my dear students! I am glad to see you again in this new episode of Learning Mathematics 8. Teacher Debs is back to be your guide and best buddy in learning. Find the most convenient place at home and let us learn together. Our town Libon is known as the rice granary of Albay. Its major economic activities are agriculture and fishing. It is a first-class municipality with a land area of 222.76 square meters. Its 4,000 hectares of rice land produced 30.4 million kilos or 608,000 bags of palay per year. Remember that we celebrate the Paroy Festival every July? The celebration is the way of thanksgiving our patron saint. The wide agricultural area of our town is something that we can consider in understanding the importance of factoring polynomials. We would know the dimension of the rice lands owned by many farmers by representing its area using polynomials. It's amazing, right? You will know the length and the width of a lot through its area represented by a polynomial. You heard it right. That's the power of algebra. So here are the things that you are expected to learn after this session. First, factor completely different types of polynomials such as common monomial factor, difference of two squares, sum and difference of two cubes, perfect square trinomials, and general trinomials. Second, solve problems involving factors of polynomials. And lastly, realize the importance of factoring polynomials involving real-life problems. So let's have first a review on how we factor completely polynomials by playing a game entitled Catching the Fishes. Prepare your paper and pen so we can get started. Don't worry because you will be provided with options and you have enough time to factor the polynomials. If you hear this sound, it only means that your time is up. So are you ready? Let's begin by factoring the simplest quadratic equation. Let's begin with this fish. So this fish has the quadratic function 5x squared plus 15x. So you should be able to choose the correct bait so that you will be able to catch this fish. So which among the baits above are the factors of this polynomial? So your time starts now. Your time is up. So what are the factors of 5x squared plus 15x? You got it right. The answer is 5x times the binomial x plus 3. So this is an example of common monomial factor. So 5x squared and 15x has the common monomial factor 5x. Let's proceed. Let us now try to catch the fish with the polynomial x squared minus 25. Which among the baits above could catch the fish? Your time starts now. It's x plus 5 and x minus 5. Amazing! What kind of polynomial is x squared minus 25? Very good. That is an example of difference of two squares. Now, let's try to catch a bigger fish. Let's have x squared plus 6x plus 9. So which among the remaining baits above could catch this fish? Your time starts now. Your time is up. And the answer is perfect. We have x plus 3. So if we're going to square x plus 3, the answer is x squared plus 6x plus 9. What kind of polynomial is x squared plus 6x plus 9? Correct. That is a perfect square trinomial. That's why we have squared the binomial x plus 3. We only have now 3 remaining baits. So let us catch the 3 remaining. Now, look for the bait that could catch x cubed minus 64. Your time starts now. Oh, let's find out which among the remaining baits could catch x cubed minus 64, which are the factors of this polynomial. Very good! You still got it correctly. So the factors of x cubed minus 64 are x plus 4 and the quadratic polynomial x squared minus 4x plus 16. Let's have the 2 remaining polynomials. Let us now catch the fish with the polynomial x cubed plus 64. Your time starts now. So what's the answer? Exactly. That factors are x minus 4 and x squared plus 4x plus 16. The remaining bait is x plus 3 and x plus 5. What kind of polynomial do you think is the product of these two factors? Correct. That is a general trinomial. So which among those species that you can see is a general trinomial? Of course, we have the remaining one, which is x squared plus 8x plus 15. Amazing! You got a perfect score. So let us clap your hands for that achievement. Are you now excited to proceed with our next activity? Yes, that's nice to hear. So today, you will apply your factoring skills in solving word problems involving polynomials. Another prerequisite skill you need is translating mathematical problems or mathematical phrases into algebraic expressions or equations. Let's try if you can translate some of mathematical phrases or sentences into algebraic expressions or equations. So let's have first this one. The product of two consecutive numbers. So how are you going to write this mathematical phrase into an algebraic expression? Yes, remember it right that we make use of the letters from the alphabet to represent any number. So that's what we call the variable or the literal coefficients. So this may be represented as x times x plus 1. So the first number is represented by x and the number follows is simply x plus 1. We know that if we add 1 to a preceding number, that will be the next one or the consecutive number. So let's have another 1. The product of two consecutive numbers is 12. Is this a mathematical phrase or a mathematical sentence? Correct. This is a mathematical sentence. As you can see, it starts with a capital letter, it ends also with a period, and it states a complete thought. Therefore, this is a mathematical sentence. So how are you going to translate this one into an algebraic expression? Wow, I am amazed. So the answer is x times the quantity x plus 1 is equal to 12. If you're going to compare this one to the first example, you only have to equate it with 12. So let's go back with our mathematical sentence. So in this sentence, there are two consecutive numbers which is the same on the first mathematical phrase. That's why you have x times the binomial x plus 1. And the word is can be translated into the mathematical symbol equals and simply copy 12. That's why you have x times the binomial x plus 1 is equal to 12. Let's have the last mathematical phrase. The length of a side of a rectangle is 3 more than its width. Now, this is quite challenging. I'll give you 10 seconds to think about this. Okay, which one first you must be able to represent? Is it the width or the length? Very good. So you need first to represent the width before representing the length, because the length depends on the width. So since you do not know the width, you make use of a literal coefficient or a variable. That's correct. So let's be consistent and make use of x. So the width will be w, and since the length of the side of the rectangle is 3 more than its width, therefore we have 3 and more than can be translated to an addition symbol or plus w. So that's the way we translate mathematical phrases into mathematical sentences or algebraic expressions. Alright, so I think you already know and you already have the prerequisite skills for our lesson for today. Now that you already know to translate phrases or sentences into algebraic expressions, let us solve some word problems involving polynomials using the following steps. So here are the methods on solving word problems. First, there is a need for you to understand the problem. Read the problem very carefully. It may be necessary to read it several times, and a sketch may help. So when we analyze a problem, you read along the lines and understand what is being said in the problem. Sometimes we used to make representations or illustration to sketch how we understand the problem. Second, devising a plan. Determine what you are to find and then let a variable represent the unknown. It will be necessary to write an equation based upon the words of the problem. So when we say devising a plan, you must have the clear view of what you are going to find. What are you looking for? And then we make use of a variable or a literal coefficient to represent the unknown. And in algebra, we make use of x as a representation of an unknown. So it will be necessary to write an equation. So if you have an equation that is different from a phrase, so it means that the presence of equal sign is there. Then third, we have carrying out the plan. That's the time that you're going to solve the equation. Then, looking back. Looking back simply means you're going to check your answers. So let's have this sample problem. Can you read the problem? What are the two consecutive numbers whose product is 132? Okay, read it on your own. So let us now solve the problem. So let's follow the steps that I have told you. First step, state the given facts. So what are the facts given on the problem? Very good. So you have two consecutive numbers whose product is 132. Mayroon kang dalawang magkasunod na numbers na kung saan kapag minultiply mo ang dalawa, ito ay magre-resulta sa 132. Tama. Pangalawa, you have to state what is asked to find. Ano ba yung hinahanap mo? Yes, you are looking for two consecutive numbers whose product is 132. Third, write a representation. So here, we let x be the first number. So why do you think is x plus 1 is the second number? Exactly. To get the succeeding number, given a certain number, you have to add 1. Very good. So write a working equation. This time, you will make use of your representation to write your working equation. So you have x times x plus 1 is equal to 132. Is this correct? Of course this is. So we make use of this parenthesis to indicate the operation multiplication and equate it to 132. What will you do next? We have to solve the equation. So what property are you going to use to solve the equation? Nice! So we will use the distributive property. So we're going to multiply x with the binomial x plus 1. So let's have first x times x. How are you going to do that? Yes, we're going to distribute x times x. So what is the product? That is x squared. Next, multiply x plus and 1. So you have x. Then copy, equate it with 132. So now you have x squared plus x is equal to 132. How are you going to write this as a polynomial so that you can factor it? Correct. We're going to equate this into 0. So you have x squared plus x minus 132 is equal to 0. Then you factor. How do you factor this general trinomial? Very good. You will think of the factors of 132, which give you a sum of 1. And those are 12 and negative 11. If you will multiply if you multiply 11, negative 11 to positive 12, the result will be negative 132. And adding negative 11 and 12, that will result to 1. So you cannot see here the visible number 1, but if you have a variable x, it is understood that you have a numerical coefficient 1. So the next thing to do is to substitute it to the working equation. That's why you have here x plus 12 is equal to 0. You're going to equate the two factors to 0 to get the solution. So what is the first value of x? That is negative 11. How about the other one? So you have x minus 11 is equal to 0. So getting the value of x, the value of x sub 2 is 11. So x plus 1 is equal to 11 plus 1, and that is equal to, that should be positive 12. So that's a typo error here. Now what's the next step? State your answer. So the two consecutive numbers are 11 and 12, or negative 11 and negative 12. Since we are simply looking for two consecutive numbers whose product is 132, that could be a set of negative integers or positive integers. And those are negative 12 and negative 11, and also positive 11 and positive 12. So there are two sets of answers that could satisfy the given problem. So let us check your answers. So we simply substitute it to the equation x, which is the first number, and x plus 1, the second number, is equal to 132. So let's try to use first 11. So if you will use 11, we have 11 times the quantity 11 plus 1 is equal to 132. So we have 11 times 12 is equal to 132. Therefore, this is correct. So we have 132 is equal to 132. Let's have the other one. Right? Let's make use of negative 12. So here we have negative 12 times negative 12, the quantity negative 12 plus 1, and that is equal to 132. Let's see. So we have negative 12 times negative 11. Multiplying two negatives, what will be the result? That's 132. So 132 is equal to 132. So if you will observe, here you have the positive factors. You have 11, you have here 11 and 12. And the other one, you have negative 12 and negative 11. So it is very important that you know how to check your answer for you to become confident that you have the right one. And you can simply check that if two numbers are consecutive, the product will be 132, so that's correct. Let's have another problem to solve. Will you read the second problem? The length of a farmer's rectangular garden is 2 more than its width. If the area of the rectangle is 24 square meters, find its dimensions. With this problem, what are the given facts? Ano ba yung sinasaad sa problem? Yes, first you have a rectangular garden. But what more? The rectangular garden is, the area of the rectangular garden is 24 square meters. How about its dimensions? So you only know that the length is 2 more than the width. So what will you represent first? Is it the length or the width? Very good. It is the width. So if you're going to illustrate it, you have this, a rectangular garden. You have your width as x. Now, since the length is 2 more than its width, so you copy x here, then you add 2, or you have 2, then more than means you add. So more than x. So 2 more than its width. So now you have a complete statement of the given facts. The next thing to do is to state the given. So to state what is asked to find. So what we are looking for is the dimension or the dimensions of the rectangle. So how do you solve for the problem? Yes, you have already the representations on your illustration. So you will only take x and 2 plus x as your representation and label it. So let x be the width of the rectangle and 2 plus x is the length of the rectangle. The next thing to do is to write the working equation. So what is the principle stated? So you have the concept of an area. So how do you get the area of a rectangle? What operation will you use? Correct, you will use multiplication. So the area of a rectangle is given by multiplying its length and its width. That's why the area of the rectangle is equal to the length multiplied by the width. So you have A is equal to L times the W, wherein A is the area, L is the length, and W is the width. So you simply substitute the length. So given the area 24 meters squared, equate it to the length, which is 2 plus x, and the width, which is equal to x. You can write it in this form, and this is only equal to this. So you have 2 plus x times x is equal to 24 square meters. Now, what's the next thing to do after writing your equation? Next step is to solve the equation. So how will you solve the equation? So as you can see here, the length is already represented by the binomial 2 plus x, and the width is represented by x. Then it is equated to 24 square meters. The next step will be to distribute 2x. That's why you get 2x. So x is multiplied to 2. Then multiply x to x. That's why you have x squared. Then copy equals 24 square meters. To rearrange the terms, it should be in the standard form a x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. But here, it is already interchanged. That's why you have x squared plus 2x. Then copy equals 24 square meters. If you will observe, the next step is to remove first the square meters. It's because it might confuse you of the unknown. You only have one variable to solve for. And m here is the unit of measurement. That's why it is being temporarily removed. So to write the equation into its standard form, you have x squared plus 2x minus 24. And to get its factors, we're going to equate it with 0 using 0 property. So, what could give you the sum of 2 if you have negative 24? What are the factors of negative 24 that if we're going to add will result to 2? Yes, it's positive 6 and negative 4. I'll give you a technique. So if you have a positive second term, or the numerical coefficient beside x is positive, you should get the larger number has the addition sign, and the smaller one should take the minus sign. So that if we're going to add 6 and negative 4, the result will be positive since 6 has the greater absolute value. So now we are able to factor out and use the zero product property. Since we have equated the whole polynomial to 0 a while ago, we can also equate x minus 4 and the binomial x plus 6 to 0 individually, so that we can look for the values of x that will become part of our solution. So the first part of our the first factor that we have is 4, and the second factor is negative 6. We know that we don't have negative length. That's why we only take 4 as part of our solution and solve for the value of the length. Since we have represented the width as x, we already have the width. So we have 4 as our width and look for our length by substituting it to this expression. So the length will be 2 plus x. Since the value of our x is 4, we have 2 plus 4, and that is equal to 6. And therefore, the length is equal to 6. So what will be the unit of measurement? It's meters. So we have the length as 6 meters and the width as 4 meters. So that's the time that you're going to give or state your answer. So the dimensions of the rectangular garden are 4 meters and 6 meters. So what's the last step? Correct. Check for your answer. Remember that the area of a rectangle is given by this formula, length times width. Using your representations, again, m here is your unit of measurement. So 24 square meters is equal to 2 plus x times the width x. Then you have 2 plus 4 is 6 times 4. Then copy 24 square meters is equal to, carrying out the multiplication operation, multiply 6. This expression is equal to 6. 2 plus 4 is 6 times 4 is 24. Therefore, your answer is correct. Okay, let's have another example. So this time, the context is different. So everybody read the problem. Okay, so the 2 consecutive pages of a mathematics book have a product of 306. What are the page numbers? Take note of the problem. Read it several times as you can. So let us now solve it. What's the first step? State the given facts. So the 2 consecutive pages of a mathematics book have a product of 306. What are the given? Those are the given facts. Now, what is asked to find? Ano ba yung hinahanap natin? So we are looking for the 2 consecutive pages of a mathematics book. With that idea, what kind of numbers are you expecting to get? Are you expecting to get a negative value for this? Of course not. So page numbers can only be written in positive pages, positive numbers. So you are looking for the 2 consecutive pages whose product is 306. Next step, write a representation. So like the idea of having 2 consecutive numbers, how will you represent 2 consecutive pages. Very good. It's only the same. So you have to let x be the first page number, x plus 1 be the second page number. Then, write a working equation. So it is stated in the problem that the product is 306. So it is equated to 306. So you have to multiply this one to solve it, then equate it to 306. Let's proceed. Let's solve it. Solve the equation. Okay. The same process, we will make use of distributive property to carry out the operation. Para ma-multiply ang x plus 1, gagamitin natin yung distributive property. Multiply x and x, so you have x squared. Multiply x and 1, you have x. And simply copy 306. What will be the next step? Yes, you will write it on its standard form to get the polynomial. What is the polynomial? Correct, it's x squared plus x minus 306, and it is equated to 0. Why is it there? Why is it that you equate the polynomial to 0? Very good. We need to equate it to 0 so that we can get its factors. If we can equate this polynomial into 0, can we also equate its factors to 0? Exactly. We can also do that. So now we equate x plus 18 to 0 and x minus 17 to 0. Do you think 18 and 17 are factors of 306? Yes. So if we're going to multiply 18 and 17, it will give you a product of 306. But since we have here negative 306, you have x plus 18 and x minus 17. You will think of factors of 306 that when you add will result to positive 1. So like what I have told you, the bigger number will take the plus sign and the smaller number will take the minus sign. So that if you add the two, it will result to a positive value. So applying the same process, you will get negative 18 and positive 18. So what do we call this negative 18? So we don't have any negative page number. So we consider this negative 18 as our extraneous. We have this as our extraneous solution. Okay. So we can only take here 17 as our first value. To get the second number or the second page number, we simply substitute 17 to the expression x plus 1. So x plus 1, that is 17 plus 1 is equal to 18. So this is now the second page. We have the pages 17 and 18. To state your answer, you can say that the page number of the mathematics book are 17 and 18. Then check your answer by taking your first representation or the equation. You can check your answer. Sorry. So you have this one. You have this one. So first page number and the following page number. Then you have substituted here 17, the value of x. So you get 17 and 18. So that's correct. So do you have any question? You can comment it on the comment box, or you can message me through your messenger account. Okay, before we proceed on our activity, let's have first the generalization. You may generalize by answering these questions. First, what are the necessary skills that you need to solve problems involving polynomials? Very good. So you need to master the factoring process. You must be equipped with the skill of factoring polynomials, different types of polynomials. What else? Yes, you must be able to translate mathematical phrases or mathematical sentences into algebraic expressions, or you must be able to represent a certain word problem into mathematical statement. In what kind of real-life problems can we apply polynomials? So the first thing, what's that? Very good. So we have applied the polynomials in solving consecutive numbers. What else? Yes, obviously you have here solving for the dimensions of rectangular lots or rectangular gardens, or even any rectangular object. You can solve for the dimension of any rectangular object by using polynomials as the area and expressing it into its factors to solve for the dimensions. Very good. What else? Yes, we can also solve for the page number of the book. And as we go on with our activity, you will still discover in what kind of real-life problems we can apply polynomials. So how do we solve problems involving polynomials? Do you remember the steps? What's the first one? Yes, state the given facts. Second, state what is asked to find. Very good. Third, write a representation. Fourth, write a working equation. Fifth, solve the equation. Sixth, state your answer. And lastly, be able to check your answer. Now, I think you are ready to have our activity. So prepare your pen and a paper, a scratch paper also. Okay, be able to write your name, the day today, the subject, and the title of the activity. Okay, let's apply what you learned. The directions, read it carefully. From the given problems, answer the questions that follow and write them on your answer sheet. First problem. The product of two consecutive integers is 210. Find the integers. Second, the area of a rectangular garden is 40 square meters. If the length is 3 more than the width, what is the measure of the width? Okay, you have five minutes to answer the problem. Okay, my time says that it's already 2 minutes ago, and you may also pause the video for you to have enough time to solve for the problem. But for now, let us try to look for the solutions in solving these two problems. So let us have the first one. What are the given facts? Okay, there are two consecutive integers whose product is 210. What is asked? To look for the consecutive integers whose product is 210. Then write the representation. How would you represent the consecutive integers? You have already mastered this one, and that is x and x plus 1. Very good. Then solve the equation. What is the first operation that you will use? It's multiplication. So you will get x squared plus x is equal to 210. Then what's the next thing to do? Yes, it's to factor. After we're writing the equation into its standard form and equating it to 0, you have to get its factors. What will be the next step to solve the equation? Very good. You're going to equate the two factors into 0. So what will be the values of your x? It's negative 15 and 14. Which one is not part of the solution? Actually, yes, both of the values of the x here are all part of the solution. Since we are looking for integers, integers can be positive, can both be positive and can be negative. So negative 15 and 14 are both parts of the solution. Is it the 15 and negative 15 and 14 the pairs of solution? No. So you will first look for its pair, and that's negative 14 and negative 15. That's the first set of the solution, and the second set of the solution is 14 and 15. Let's check your answer. So as represented, the first integer will be x and the second integer will be x plus 1, and equated it to 210. Using negative 15, you will get the consecutive number as negative 40. So, is it equal to 210? So negative 15 times negative 14, the answer is 210. So therefore, your answer is correct. The first set of integers whose product is 210 is negative 15 and negative 14. And the second set will be the positive values, which are 14 and 15. Next problem. Okay, this time we are also dealing with the area of a rectangular garden, but with different value. So this time the area will be 40 square meters, and the length is 3 more than the width, and the measure of the width is also unknown. So what is the measure of the width? So we are looking for the width. So therefore, the given facts are 40 square meters, which is the area of the rectangular garden. And also the length is 3 more than the width. We missed to write the width. It should be width. Alright. You have here the correct spelling. Next, what is asked to find? We are asked to look for the width. Then, write a representation. What will be your representation for the width? Can be x be the width of the rectangular garden, then x plus 3 will be the length. So if you make use of a, it's okay. Any letter in our alphabet can be used here. So it can be a and a plus 3. Can be also b, but you should express it into the same variables. What's the next step? Okay, we have to carry out the operation of multiplication. Since the area is obtained by length times width, we have x plus 3 times x is equal to 40 square meters. Then we have to equate the factors to 0. So what are the factors of your equation? Yes, so we have x plus 8 is equal to 0 and x minus 5 is also equal to 0. Still, we have negative 8. And negative 8 is an extraneous solution. We don't have such negative length or negative distance. So that's why this is not part of our solution. We will only take x, and x is our representation of the width. Therefore, we have since x represents the width, therefore the width of the rectangular garden is 5 meters. We don't have to look for the length. But if you are asked to look for the length, what will be the length? Okay, you will substitute 5 to the equation x plus 3 so that you will get 8 as the length. Very good. So, the last step is to check your answer. To check your answer, you have your working equation and substitute it. Is that equal to 40? Yes, it is. Therefore, your answer is correct. So the width is 5 meters. How about this one? Make use of another sheet of paper and be able to solve these problems. We have directions. Solve the following problems by following the step-by-step procedure that you've learned. Make an illustration of the problem. This time, you are asked to illustrate the problem. So you're going to make a sketch of your problem. Due to pandemic, Ma'am Leia Cruz de Gulayan sa Paaralan Coordinator decided to cultivate a rectangular lot in school into a vegetable garden. If the area of the lot is 60 square meters and the length is 4 meters more than the width, what are the dimensions of the lot? Second, a raffle draw was initiated by PNHS teachers to generate funds for the installment of water system. Limited slots were identified from 1 to 100. Chuomon have a dream on what is the product of the two consecutive numbers that will be drawn. The product is 156. What number should Chuomon choose to win the raffle? So the second problem have the assumption that the product of the winning numbers is 156. So what number should Choomon choose to win the raffle? Now let's illustrate the problem. What kind of land was cultivated by Ma'am Leah Cruz? Very good, it's a rectangle. Now, how are we going to identify the width and the length of this rectangle? It is said that the length is 4 meters more than the width. You also know that the width is unknown, so you have first to represent the width. How about the length? So the width, let us represent the width as x. How about the length of the rectangle? So if it is 4 meters more than the width, it should be x plus 4. Now let us solve the problem step by step. The facts: the area of a garden, which is a rectangle, is 60 square meters. Then the length is 4 meters more than the width. What is asked to find? You are tasked to find for the dimensions of the lot. Then write a representation. We already did that on the illustration. So we have x and x plus 4 as our dimensions. Then we solve the equation. So we have here x plus 4 times x is equal to 40 square meters. Which among these two expressions here is the length? Yes, the length is x plus 4 and the width is x. To solve this one, we have the factors. So it is first written into its standard form and it is equated to 0. Then what are the factors of negative 60, whose sum is positive 4? So those factors are positive 10 and negative 6. Then we both equate the 2 into 0. Then we get the first value of x as negative 10, which is the extraneous solution, and the second value of x is 6. So definitely this is our width. Then to get our length, we simply add 4 to 6. That's why we have 6 plus 4 is equal to 10, and that is our length. So let's check our state your answer. The width of the rectangular garden is 6 meters and the length is 10 meters. To check, we have this one. We have x squared plus 4x minus 60 is equal to 0. Then substituting the value of x, we have 6 squared plus 4 times 6 is equal to 60. So squaring 6, you will get 36, and multiplying 4 by 6, you get 24. Adding 36 and 24 will result to 60. Therefore, your answer is correct. The second problem. Imagine you can also solve this type of problem using polynomials. So, you can illustrate the problem. Since you have two consecutive numbers, you may draw a line or a box. Then, if you will multiply, the product of those numbers is 156. Therefore, what will be the operation you will use? It's multiplication. Then, the product is 156. So, you can illustrate it this way and also represent it by making a line. So, if you don't want to make use of a box to represent the two consecutive numbers, you can make use of a line. Let us now solve the problem systematically. State the given facts. The product of two consecutive numbers is 156. What is asked? Consecutive numbers whose product is 156. How about the representation? Still you have the word consecutive. So you have the same representation. X and x plus 1. Then multiplying the two, x times x is x squared, x times 1 is x, then equate it to 156. Then writing it into its standard form and equating it to 0 so that you can factor the polynomial, you have what factors of 156 will result to the sum of positive 1. Very good. So you have positive 13 and negative 12. You will always observe that the greater number would take the plus sign and the smaller number always take the negative sign in this kind of problem since your middle term is positive. Take note of that. Then you have to equate the factors to 0 and you will get the values of x as negative 13 and 12. Do you get the same answer? Okay, I am glad to hear your progress. Now, let's check your answers. First, you have to state your answer. So you have the two consecutive numbers of the raffle ticket are 12 and 13. Did you notice that negative 13 is not part of the solution? Why? Very good. So, I know that you're able to participate in raffle draws and there are no negative numbers there. So, you will only take 12 and the number next to it is 13. So, to check your answer, you have here, this is the first number and the second number is x plus 1. And that the product is equal to 156. That's why you have 12 times the quantity 12 plus 1 is equal to 56. So, another way of checking is to going back on your representation or illustration. You can write the smaller integer and the number next to it. The smaller number. So, it's 12 and 13. So, you will ask yourself, kapag ba minultiply ko yung dalawa, ang product ba is 156? So, your answer is yes. Therefore, you must be confident that the two numbers that will Choomon should choose must be 12 and 13. So for your performance task, be a certified plantito or plantita. So we will have the garden planning. With the threat of pandemic, your mother would like to cultivate your rectangular backyard into a vegetable garden to help your family with a daily consumption. Your mother asked you to create a layout of the garden. If you must compose of at least 3 plots for different vegetables, the area of the lot is 30 square meters. You must also maximize the lot in a way that nothing will be wasted. If you are a layout artist, you should come up with a layout of your garden, picture or image, and a plan consisting of the possible vegetable to be planted and other needed information. So, kayo yung bahala kung ano ang itatanim ninyo doon sa garden, but what is being asked here is simply your illustration of what is suggested in the problem and be able to satisfy the given conditions. So here is the scoring rubric for rating. So first, you will be graded in terms of the layout or picture. So each point has corresponding descriptions. So the maximum number of points for the first criterion is 30 points. Then the next is 20 points. Then 10, then 5 points. Second criterion is the accuracy of details. Then, lastly, adaptability of the chosen plans. So that's all for now. So I hope that after doing your task, you will be able to submit your outputs to your teachers. If you can't have it personally checked, you may email or send it by sending pictures to your teachers. So thank you and have fun in doing your task.